So yoga stems back to thousands of years ago, at least 5,000 that they've recorded into Vedic times, when Vedic medicine was around, and Vedic practices, and all the things that were written down about that. And then a man called Patanjali came along, and he started to look at the practices and put them together over many, 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 many hours and hours and hours of study, contemplation, sitting out in the bush and learning. He was a scholar and a scientist, and he put together sutras. And sutras are short statements or writings. There's at least 108 sutras that he spent a long time formulating. And through these sutras, we have developed a practice that we call yoga. And the practice is based on sutras, the understanding that is learnt through the sutras. And thus became the 8 limbs of yoga. And the 8 limbs of yoga have been a foundational practice for any kind or style of yoga that happens to be around. I've been practicing yoga for about 28 years, and I discovered it probably that long ago in Tasmania by a wonderful woman called Devi. Her spiritual name was Devi. And in the Theosophical Society in Launceston, they were offering lovely hatha, gentle classes. And that's where I had my first yoga class, and I loved it. I loved the stillness and the relaxation that I found through it, and the mindset that I started to discover. And so I kept going back when I was living in Tassie for a couple of months there, and thus began a journey for me of discovery over all of these years, and I consider that journey to still be evolving. After I left Tassie, I went travelling all around lots of different parts of the world, including in India, and I kept discovering yoga in India and exploring and doing other classes and bits and pieces of retreats and learning with different people. And I just also travelled in England and Wales and in Egypt and discovered it in all of these places, different people teaching it, and kept going on my journey with yoga. When I came home after 4 years, I actually began to study more seriously with the Dance of Life studio in Melbourne, Victoria, and I was every day up early from 6:30 practicing for at least 5 days of the week, for 2 or 3 hours a day, and meeting the most amazing group of people, and very inspiring, and from all walks of life. And I think that's what's so beautiful about yoga, is that you get people attracted to it at different times in their lives, but they really are from all different backgrounds. And it doesn't matter, because you're all coming together to practice something that you get a lot of benefit out of. And everybody benefits in their own way and takes it into their life in different ways. So I kept continuing on my journey there and studied for at least 3 years, and I still see my teacher. She's in her 70s now and still teaching and still amazing and inspiring lots of people. I still go to her regularly on weekends. And I continued to study and started teaching, and have done other various retreats and actual pieces of paper qualifications, which now is required. Yoga used to be an apprenticeship. I think I'm still doing that apprenticeship. I've actually gone into, over my time, not just teaching yoga, I teach a lot of Pilates and I do a lot of massage. And that has helped my understanding of the physical body enormously. And that helps me to teach the way that I teach, and to help understand people's conditions, people's injuries, and anything emotional that might be going on. And it's helped me on my own journey enormously as well. Helped me through very challenging times in life. Yoga's always been there. It's like a tool. And it's also something that I have in my life that I know I won't ever not have. It's always there, and I'm always practicing in some way, whether it's ethical, whether it's about concentration or focus, whether it's about breathing, whether it's about slowing down, which I have to teach myself a lot to do, whether it's about physical practice of stretching and strengthening and creating mobility through my body. Yoga's always there. It's always there in some form. And I love teaching it. And I've started teaching people to become teachers in the last couple of years. And that's been another journey in itself, because I learn so much from my students, and it really makes me look at my own practice and how I talk and how I speak, how I act, and am I living my truth? So your students become your teachers, and that's what I'm really enjoying about teaching people to become a teacher, because it's enhancing my own practice and my own understanding of yoga in general. So over the years, I think I've probably taught maybe 3,000 people or more in yoga. I teach regular classes, and I have been doing that for at least 17 years on the Mornington Peninsula where I live. And before that, I was teaching up in Melbourne for at least 5-6 years. And then I taught in different places when I travelled. So I think there's at least 1,000 people, if not more, that I've taught of yoga, and part of my business life has been coming up to Port Douglas for the last 8 or 9 years and teaching yoga on the beach for 2 weeks as part of the program up there. I find new and wonderful places to see and to be in and to feel, and I get to discover waterfalls, the most incredible waterfalls are here, and rock formations, and just stunning clear, crystal clear waters. And out on the reef, and the beautiful snorkeling that's out there, and the life that's underneath. The clarity of the water and the air, the freshness. We're so lucky. This country we have up here is just stunning. All the different environments that are up here in northern Queensland are just so enriching in so many ways. There's so much to discover and to connect to. The feedback that you get over the years is beautiful from people. It's really wonderful to be able to do something in your life that not only do you enjoy and get a lot of benefit out of, but you're giving that gift to other people. You're helping them to discover things in themselves and give them tools within themselves that they can go out into the world with and be a better person and learn to cope with emotions and strong feelings, anxieties and fears, and really challenging situations. You're giving them tools to be better at doing that, to stay calmer, to help breathe, to help your body stay mobile, to do all the things that you want to do in life, to stay young, to stay vital, to help rejuvenate. There's so many beautiful things that yoga does on many subtle levels, and also on the physical level. And the feedback that you get from people is beautiful, because you can see it in them. You can see them growing, you can see them learning, you can see them have those aha moments where they discover something they didn't realise. It's just fantastic. It's really, really beautiful to see, and hopefully I will continue to see that as I continue my journey and continue my teaching journey with others.